Truth is that nobody wants to be a second class citizen. Nobody would like to be in a place where you are constantly oppressed. Okay, for those that don't know, there's an ongoing drama that is happening in the upper legislative chamber in Nigeria. Yes, a female senator was told to vacate her seat by the Senate president to another seat, and she refused. And what looked like an isolated incident has opened a can of worms. There's a lot of things she's now saying. As we speak, she has been suspended. She has been suspended. So, but I was just thinking about this issue. I talked about some part of this thing in an earlier video. So watch to know why she insisted, or why she's insisting, or why I think she's insisting on being heard, on the matter being resolved as soon as possible. But there's just something else connected to this. We all know about Rosa Parks. Well, for those that don't know about Rosa Parks was born in America at a time where there was segregation. Segregation simply means that blacks and whites were not encouraged to socialize or to be in the same environment. And that would not have been any problem. Maybe, but blacks were prevented. There was no case of where a white person wanted to go somewhere and would be prevented. At that time in America, blacks were prevented from going to several places, maybe like in the restaurants or even in the churches. They were expected to sit at the back and all that. So on that day, nobody really know what happened. I'm sure over time, Rosa Parks talked about what happened. Maybe she just had a tiring day. She was just tired. She had worked so hard, or she was on her way to work, and she's decided to sit on a seat in a bus, and they told her she had to vacate because that place was not meant for black people. And you know what? She said, no, I'm not vacating the seat. So you see how that relates to Senator Natasha Akpoti, who refused to leave her seat even though she was told by the Senate president to leave. Yes, when you look at it on the surface, Rosa Parks did not do the right thing. There was a law in America that said blacks and whites could not be in the same place, and she was not supposed to sit there. And in the same way, Senator Natasha Akpoti, there was a law in place, or there's a law in place that the Senate president has a right to tell each senator to move from one place to the other. So when we look at it as an isolated incident, we'll say both Rosa Parks and Senator Natasha, they were both wrong. But when you look at it from a deeper level, it was a rebellion that came out of oppression. They felt like they were oppressed. They felt like their rights were being trampled upon. Just like in Nigeria, for example, as a single person, there are some jobs you cannot apply for. For the fact that you are not wearing a ring on your finger, you are considered not intelligent enough. You can imagine. There are even some apartments you cannot hire because you are single. So nobody wants to be oppressed, single, married, man or woman, black or white. So Senator Natasha, in her claims, she said that she was being harassed by the Senate president. And so that day, I think what happened was that day was just like, it just came to a head as if she was like, we buy here, you know, that kind of thing. We buy here, anything we want to make it happen. She had gotten to that point because she felt she was being denied. And as a senator, you know, people just think that the upper house or the lower house is a place where you go and earn money and you go and do what you like. But they actually have jobs. They are supposed to help Nigerian senators. They are supposed to stand as representatives. They are supposed to talk about the needs of Nigerians they are representing. But more often than not, we see that we hear accusations of how they are giving bogus allowances. The allowances are just crazy compared to any part of the world. They get bogus allowances. So we don't really know what they are doing there. But I think Senator Natasha, why she was upset, apart from she's very comfortable. She's very comfortable. I'm sure she didn't need to protest about certain rights that were denied. But I think why she was protesting was that for every bill that she was presenting, there's a very important bill that she's talking about, the Ajaokuta Steel Company. I talked about it in the earlier video, and the importance it is not only for people from our region but for Nigeria. So for the fact that she felt marginalized, she felt like she could not talk about the things that her people needed. She could not talk about the things that would help the ordinary Nigerians. So whatever is happening there, we should all take one thing into cognizance. Things can no longer continue the way it happened. I think now that Natasha has been suspended, I think for it to be seen as not biased, let the Senate president also step aside this time so that they will have time to really know exactly what happened. If Senator Natasha is saying the truth about being harassed or not, I don't think one party should just leave and the other party be there, so that it's seen as not biased. They should be seen as mature people and do the mature thing. A very prominent person in Nigeria, a female, she actually said concerning this present issue, she said that female senators should be mature. They should be able to take compliments from men and deflect such kind of harassment. But because they are senators, they should be mature. But one thing I want to ask, maturity should be for both parties, both males and females. A man that is married, that has a family, or that he has no right in an official environment to harass a woman in any way. If a woman doesn't want to be complimented, let's even imagine that it was just a compliment. It is her right not to be complimented. So maturity should be for both males and females. It shouldn't be for only one gender. But now, this is not a gender debate. What I'm trying to say with this video is that oppression in any form and in any manner, just like Rosa Parks refused to stand up, there must come a time where we as Nigerians have to say no to oppression. We will refuse to do what we are told to do, especially when that gesture is meant to oppress us, to keep us silent. So I'm hoping that the situation at the National Assembly gets resolved soon, so that the senators will go on to do what they were elected to do, to help the average Nigerian. So what do you think about all that's been happening? Please put it in comments. And so till I see you in the next video, subscribe, like, and take